Hi, and welcome to another episode of My Horror Life. So, that was Shame on You from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 soundtrack. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Well, we'll be talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but we'll be talking about Part 2's in general. I'm going to go over some of the more mainstream ones and maybe throw in a couple extras along the way. So, since we started off with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, what a wild ride this movie was. Completely different from the original. You know, it's set, let's see, 12 years in the future, is it? And if I'm wrong about that, correct me down below. I think it was 1974 was the original, 1986 was the sequel. And, it picks up at the, with these two kids, traveling across country. They're bothering the local DJ, and, things happen, and we get a cool ass kill scene to open up the movie. Then we cut to the Texas OU weekend chili cook-off, and the old man chef, the cook from Part 1, Drayton Sawyer. I guess he's a world famous chili chef, and he wins the trophy. Hold on. We're number one. The Sawyers are number one. Sorry, that's the best trophy I can come up with in a short time. And so I mean, what a wild ride! This is the first introduction I got to see of Bill Moseley, who plays Chop Top, and wow, Chop Top reminded me a lot of the Hitchhiker in the first one, and the introduction of Chop Top is legendary. The scene in the radio station, Keokla, Red River, rock and roll. When Stretch, who's played by Caroline Williams, is all by herself, and she hears a lot of commotion and noise, and because Stretch overheard the killings on her radio show that she does overnights, and so that she ends up playing it on the radio, and the Sawyers all hear it, so they have to get rid of the person who's the kind of the eyewitness, but the hear witness. They heard the murders, they didn't see it. So the introduction of Chop Top is just legendary. That whole scene. EXIT exit. So Bill, if you're watching this, that's the best I could do. But this movie has so much blood in it. Incoming mail. I just want to do all the little one-liners and shit, but from that movie. But the Leatherface in this one is a little bit more perverted, I guess you could say. He has feelings for Stretch, and so this I'm not going to give away too much, just in case you live under a rock and you haven't seen it. No, I don't want to give any spoilers, but I gave you a few already, but. So this is a bloodfest. It's fun. It's a fun all the time. This is one of those movies that if you just want to kick back and just have a good time, have some popcorn, and kick back, this is the movie to do it to. It's Texas Chainsaw 2. Now we're gonna go to Nightmare on Elm Street 2. So this one is also completely different from the original. There's a male that Freddy is after this time, Jesse, played by Mark Patton, and they happen to move into the house that Nancy used to live in, and things start happening, and you got the body, and I've got the brain. That's one of my favorite. All right, you are all my children now. What is that? Why did I just sound like Ronald Reagan on crack there? No politics. So yeah, this is also a fun movie. You know, a lot of people. This is like another one of those love-hate relationships, just like Texas Chainsaw 2. You know, some people didn't like the too many changes, but I thought it was refreshing. And Mark Patton is great. He's the Scream King, as he calls himself, and it's a good old time. So that's another one you guys can kick back to and just have fun too. Um, let's see. We also have Friday the 13th Part 2. Friday the 13th Part 2, I will go on record, is my favorite Part 2 movie. It's also my favorite in the Friday the 13th series. Why? Because we get Sackhead Jason. I wish I had. I want to get a Sackhead like mask. I think this is when, to me, it was more intimidating than the mask. And I know a lot of people are going to hate on that one, but I just love the chase scenes at the end. The musical score is genius in this. The performances are great. I mean, this is everything a sequel should be, and I believe it actually surpasses the original. So then we got Halloween 2, which is another great, and this one actually takes place, same night. Laurie gets shipped off to Haddonfield Memorial, and Michael makes his way over, and the hospital setting is so creepy. I think it might be the best setting of any Halloween movie. I know some people like the barn scene from Part 6 and Part 5. Sorry, Part 5, the barn scene. Well, there's a barn scene in. No, I don't think there's a barn scene in 6. So, anyways, I'm getting off track here. But Halloween 2, great. Once again, great music. Great pace, great suspense. There's a lot of suspense in Part 2. Like I said, the hospital setting. Why is it? Can I ask something? Why is it that there's never anybody that works at a hospital in any horror movie? Michael just walks in there. I mean, yeah, there's a few people he kills off, but what do they only have, like 3 people like fucking working the whole hospital? That's a scary hospital. I'm not ever going to that hospital, especially since Michael might be around. Let's see, what other Part 2, Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp 2. This is a total, reversal of the first one. The first one is more tense, down to earth. It's scary. You don't know who's doing it, and it's a nice whodunit. In Part 2, it's a fun game. This is like a fun. This is like everything I want in a comedy sequel. There's everything in this movie. There's great one-liners, and of course, oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the summer sun. I love the trees and forests. I'm always having fun. Oh, I'm a happy camper. I love the clear blue skies. And with the grace of God, I'll camp until I die, which is very soon. I know you guys are singing along. Admit it. Drop it in the comment section. I bet you are. Say, Rob, I was singing along. Because I'm a happy camper. So, let's talk about another cool sequel. Children of the Corn 2. This one does not get enough credit for being a Part 2 movie. A lot of people like 1, and I also love 3. But Part 2, Micah is a great leader, and he has a lot of the same attributes as Isaac. Isaac, I think, is a little bit more creepy, but I think the performance that Micah gives is terrific in this one, and I love the storyline. I love the setup. I love the ending is great. So when they're trying to save Micah, and it's I love the Children of the Corn series. I know a lot of people say, well, there's no timeline, there's no consistency. The only time they ever bring back a character is in part 6 when they bring back Isaac. But creepy kid movies always get to me, and that's definitely another creepy kid movie. So let's see where we're at. 11 minutes. Let's see if I can think of another part 2 off the top of my head. Phantasm 2. How can I leave this one out? Now, I used to have a battle between what's better, Phantasm 1 or Phantasm 2. As far as a scary movie goes, I think Phantasm 1 is. But a complete overall movie, I think Phantasm 2. And the balls of death, I call them. Those things are so intimidating in part 2, and that one scene, going right through his skull. That's worth the whole movie, and I love the characters, especially Reggie. I'm a big Reggie fan. He's lasted all 5 movies now, so kick ass Reggie. Good friend of mine, Reggie Bannister, and so I hope Reggie Bannister watches this. Give him the accolades that he so highly deserves. Another one, Return of the Living Dead 2. It's more like a sequel, not a sequel. It's more like a clever remake. They have the same 2 guys in the movie, James Cameron and Tom Matthews. But this time they're grave robbers. In the first one, they worked for a mausoleum, but this time they're grave robbers, and they let that shit get out in the air again, and they wake up and the whole graveyard is surrounding them, and this one's a really fun movie, especially I'm gonna give a spoiler here if you haven't seen part 2, the Michael Jackson Thriller look-alike. That scene is epic. I would love to see. I would have loved to see Michael Jackson actually do a horror movie, even though he did Thriller, which was fantastic. If anybody doesn't like Thriller, I don't know what weird world you live in. Let's see. Any other part 2s? Evil Dead 2. I can't forget Bruce Campbell. Evil Dead 2. I'm going to tell a quick funny story. So I never saw Evil Dead 1 this is back when Evil Dead 2 was getting released in 87. And, I was at the movie theater and I was trying to look for a movie, and I was like, Evil Dead 2. And I was thinking to myself, well, I never seen Evil Dead 1, but I was, determined to see a movie, and wow, was I blown away by this movie. It is funny. It is bloody. It is clever. The chase scenes are, the scenes with the cameras moving a lot. Oh my god! As soon as I got out of the theater, I went to the video store. Yes, video store. I said it, and I rented Evil Dead 1, and I was a little surprised that it wasn't as fast paced as the part 2, but I thought, part 1 is great also, and it kind of introduces us to a then shy, naive Ash. I just say Nash. I'm thinking about wrestling, I guess, Kevin Nash. But we introduce us to a very shy, naive Ash, and how he basically is a little bit, really scared in this first one, and then the second one, he knows what he's up against, even though it's more of a clever remake than a sequel. They just had a bigger budget, so they redid it, and wow, that I could still watch that movie over and over again. And any other part twos? Let me look around my room here. Yes, one more. Amityville 2. Wow. Talk about a sequel that blows the original out of the water. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on the original. I love James Brolin. I think James Brolin is one of the most underrated actors, and he does a great job. But this part two, I mean, wow! Like all the characters, the dysfunctional family moving into this new house, and the performance by I can't think off the top of my head what the actor's name who plays Butch is terrific. And of course Diane Franklin, who's got like Be Still My Heart. Diane Franklin, I had the biggest thing for Diane Franklin when I was younger. You know, Lost American Virgin, and then she was later on in Bill and Ted, and then this one, and Amityville 2 is just like I was so in love with that woman. And when I'm not gonna say it, but she has a untimely death, and I wish she lived. But I got her autograph in the background back there somewhere. She is, yeah, right there. It says, Rob, I have a confession to make. Woohoo. I wonder what that confession is. Just kidding, Diane. But anyway, so I might do another one of these, maybe another more part twos, or maybe I'll just go right to part 3 movies. These are the movies that just stuck off right up on my top of my head. And before I leave, let me just double check, do I have any others to talk about? No, I think that's it. Well, anyways, I'm Rob, and this has been my horror life, and I hope you enjoyed my part 2s to famous horror franchises. Have a great one.